Dan Orlovsky, former NFL quarterback, breaking down some of the things that went wrong for the Browns defense against the Colts.
Yeah, that's fair. This is still an elite defense. I got to give some credit to the Colts for yesterday. I thought they did a nice job of designing and then calling some man coverage beaters. We talked a ton about their man coverage last week, and that happened a little bit. They get the pick on the linebacker, hit the wheel route to the tailback. So that was really impressive. Two, they defensively, Cleveland handled the RPO very poorly. 4 or 5 times. Two touchdown runs for Gardner Minshew.
I didn't even know you were going to show that,
Yeah,
Dave.
the RPOs. Yeah. 3, the bad tackling. This was the story of the game for me in many ways, was bad tackling. You saw the Pittman play, right? The bad tackling, that led to a bunch of big plays. And then they got caught with some offside penalties that there were some free plays. This one to Alec Pierce. There's the touchdown to Josh Downs early in the game. So I think the offsides and the tackling can be handled. Yeah. I do believe they have to figure out some of the RPO stuff. And then obviously they're going to get attacked in man coverage beaters.
Yeah. And Fred, the tackling, that kind of was something that stood out. They had been pretty good up until that game. And they got another guy like Jonathan Taylor and Kenneth Walker that's waiting Sunday.
Yeah, they've been good against the top running backs overall. I mean, they shut down. You can go right through them. Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, Najee Harris, Christian McCaffrey. But they give up 456 yards, and by my estimation, there's about 160 on, like you said, broken long passes. The first one, when Myles Garrett jumped offside, it looked like the defense just relaxed, and the receiver ran right by Grant Delpit, 59-yard touchdown. Then Greg Newsome on a quick slant to Pittman missed the tackle, and he went for 75 yards. So right there's almost 130 yards just with those two plays. And some of the ones that they were just showing there and talking about, it wasn't what we've seen, but it seemed to me more in the secondary. You give up 456 yards. You've been giving up an average of 200 yards a game, but you weren't taking the ball away. We kept berating them, because of that. They only had 4 turnovers in the first 5 games, and the Browns lost the turnover ratio in all 5 of those games, and it was amazing that they were 3-2. Well, then the other day they give up a lot of yards, but they take the ball away 4 times. One was a direct touchdown. The other strip sack fumble set up a touchdown. They got an interception that was a field goal, turned into a field goal. So there's 17 points they scored off turnovers, and that's not talking adding the special team block field goal that led to a field goal for the Browns. So the defense alone, put 17 points on the board. So the trade-off was you took the ball away 4 times, turned it into points, and the offense turned it over twice, but you won the turnover battle, which was the first time all year you have, and you come out with a win. So when you look at that, if you could get them, you don't have to give up 200 yards, but if you could knock it down, more customary in the less than 300 yard a game range, but take the ball away, that would be the key, in a perfect world, is get them both. But I think the way they won that was obviously because the ball bounced their way. The strip sacks, 3 of them, turned into fumbles, and one sealed the game. The other 2 resulted in 2 touchdowns. So that, I'll take that. You think of the Joe Woods defense, I'll add this, Dave. They would have let teams go all the way down the field in that playoff year. They gave up 26 points a game in that year. But everybody forgot about it because the other team or they would take the ball away before they got a touchdown or a score. And everybody's like, oh, great, And so because their takeaways were much higher that year. So you got to have them both. But it's a good thing they had those the other day, because it'd have been about, 38-10 or 38-15, something like that, if you wouldn't have had the scores off the defense.